moment. How will we be remembered? Look at the opportunities before us.
This election really isn't about the left versus the right. It's about we, the people, choosing our government and the choice between freedom versus tyranny.
Nobody has a chronic disease burden like we have. Why are we allowing this to happen to our children? Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other.
What is going on here is deeper than politics. It is deeply spiritual. We are being called to rise above the hatred and the fear and the evil.
We need to remember above and beyond that we must love our neighbors, that we must treat other people as we hope to be treated.
You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative.
America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing!
Don't you want healthy children? Don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
I come to you today as a former Democrat. I will be a first-time Trump voter tonight.
The people dreamed this country, and it's the people who are making America great again. Making rock and roll.
Good evening, Patriots and friends, and welcome to Audit the Vote's weekly podcast. I am your host, Toni, CEO of Audit the Vote PA and Regional Ambassador on the East Coast for Patriot Academy and their Constitution Coach program. Please like, share, and subscribe to our podcast on whatever platform you are watching it on. We are live on Facebook, Telegram, Instagram, X. Why when I start rattling them off do I leave out Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble? Yes, I think I got them all. Share this so we can get the word out there. Pennsylvania is proving to be a pivotal state. I just did a ton of media today. I'm a little wiped out. We have a special guest that's going to be popping on here at halfway through the hour. We've got some really important things to run through first. I'm excited to share Joeylynn with you again. She's been on the Audit the Vote podcast before, last summer, before she was headed to court for her free speech lawsuit that they won. And we haven't had a chance to get her back on so she can give you updates. But she's even making a bigger impact in her local community by booting a woke city council member by tripling their turnout in the primary on May 3rd in the town that she lives in Texas. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about that and how she did that, because certainly we can learn from her here in Pennsylvania. You know what? My shed is getting a little warm. You guys enjoying the nice weather? It's getting a little nicer. It was kind of raining in Pennsylvania today, but if I start sweating, don't mind me. I might have to go text my husband and see if he can open the window or something. It's getting a little hot in here. But please share this because, you know, Pennsylvania, I spoke on a radio show today. It is a pivotal state. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. For those that are watching the 2020 election really closely, you remember that they called Pennsylvania on Friday of the election. The election was Tuesday, November 3rd. That Friday is when they illegitimately gave the election to Joe Biden. And we can say that on YouTube right now, apparently not get kicked off, and Facebook. We'll see how long that lasts. And that's when the media called it, and there was this big celebration. Pennsylvania was the linchpin. And the exact same thing happened in 2024, just in our favor, in that as soon as Pennsylvania was called, the election for Trump, then that's when the election was called for President Trump. So Pennsylvania, we are the keystone for a reason, and it is vital. So I'm asking you to share this so we can get as many eyeballs on it as possible, so we can expose the corruption and the fraud in our state in an effort to root out the deep state swamp that we have in Harrisburg, because it's not just in DC, folks, it's in every state house. And we have a lot of work to do. Speaking of work to do, the first thing that I want to share with you guys is Patriot Academy is coming out with new curriculum. I cannot wait. I know many of you watching this have been students of mine in Constitutional Live and Biblical Citizenship. And I have an exciting update for you that there's a brand new curriculum that's supposed to launch on July 4th, supposed to keep your eyes peeled. Hopefully everything goes according to plan. It's called Rebuilding Liberty. And we have a quick promo video we're going to show you, and keep your eyes peeled because you might see somebody doing it.
Calling all patriots, the 250th birthday of America is right around the corner, and the work begins now. It's the perfect opportunity to educate America, to solve the civic ignorance problem we have with some civic literacy, teaching the principles of the Declaration of Independence, so that we're not just celebrating on July 4th, not just having a bunch of hot dogs and fireworks, and we're not just waving the American flag. We understand why the American flag is being waved. We actually bring to life the principles of the Declaration of Independence. Now, of course, we've been doing that for decades at Patriot Academy and at Wall Builders, but this is the opportunity to get millions of Americans to join us in understanding these principles of the Declaration of Independence. So we literally wrote the book, the blueprint for rebuilding liberty, just in time for America's 250th, and we want you to partner with us. So here's the plan. It's not complicated, but it does involve money and time. In fact, it's lives, fortunes, and sacred honor. I think I heard that somewhere, and we'll be teaching on that. So here's how you can be a part of it. We're going to work with the White House and with 100 different organizations that already are constitutionally oriented organizations, and they already have people in the field. And we're going to put 5 million people through the Rebuild Liberty course so that they understand the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. In other words, we're going to do what Ronald Reagan told us to do in his farewell address in 1989. January of 1989, he warned of an eradication of the American memory that would lead to an erosion of the American spirit, and that's what happened. So we're going to restore the American memory, and we're going to restore that American spirit doing exactly what he said to do, which is civic ritual. And the 250th gives us the perfect opportunity for that civic ritual. Now, we need 5 million informed patriots and 100,000 Constitution coaches to make this happen. That may sound like a lot, but we've already put 1 million people through these Constitution courses, and we already have 30,000 Constitution coaches. So with your help, with 100 organizations, with your donation, and with your organization stepping in to deploy this through your organization, we can make this happen. We can rebuild liberty across the fruited plain. Join us at Patriot Academy. Go to patriotacademy.com and help us rebuild liberty just in time for the 250th.
I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I don't know if I was supposed to share that video out yet because this isn't like technically public, so maybe don't say anything to Rick Green if you know him. I'm just playing, I think. You saw a familiar face in that. I hope that my story inspires you to get involved, because 5 years ago this month, let's see, we're in May of 2020, I was just waking up. I was going down every rabbit hole. I was reading the book, The Creature from Jekyll Island, and I was just trying to understand what the heck is going on. And 5 years later, I'm in the flipping curriculum. It's just insane. It's insane to me, and it's just a testimony when God has a plan for your life and you walk it out in obedience, what he can do for you. So I was honored to be a part of that when I was in Texas, and who knows, maybe it'll get all edited out and I won't even end up in any of the curriculum. I don't care. The class, I'm sure, is going to be amazing. I've yet to be disappointed by anything Patriot Academy puts out, so I'm sure this will not disappoint either. If you're a Constitution coach or thinking about becoming a Constitution coach, go to patriotacademy.com and get ready for Rebuilding Liberty, because it is coming quick. Next thing we want to talk about next week is a very important week in Pennsylvania. Primary elections are where we clean house. It's where we clean stuff up. Again, 5 years ago this month, I didn't know what a primary was. I'm fairly certain that I only voted in presidential primaries, if that. I do remember the 2016 primary. I don't remember the 2012 primary. I'm thinking I had to have voted, right? I'll have to ask my husband. At any rate, I've since learned, since getting active, that this is where we root out the corruption. And if our elected officials are not listening to us, this is our chance to boot them. And so the Grassroots in Pennsylvania are supporting 2 candidates for judge that the establishment GOP has not endorsed. They've endorsed 2 separate candidates. Robocalls is so disappointing from Stacey Garrity of going out text messages. Stacey Garrity's our state treasurer. She's somewhat the front runner for governor in 2026 and had a lot of grassroots patriot support, and she has come out in support of the establishment's candidates. So I know a lot of people are super disappointed and upset about that, but you know what you can do? You can get your butt to the polls next week on May the 20th on Tuesday and cast a vote for Josh Prince and Maria Batista. Josh Prince for Commonwealth Court, Maria Batista for Superior Court. Josh Prince, I mean, just full blown. We had him on the podcast. We'll probably put reels out the rest of the week with our interview with him. He truly won me over this past week when he filed a lawsuit in favor of election integrity, because there's a whole mess of stuff going on in Cambria County. And he went, no, and he filed a lawsuit. So because of that, Audit the Vote can get fully behind him, even though we don't endorse candidates. That is an issue that is near and dear to our heart and obviously our hot button. So another thing that you can do if you really want to get involved is I'm fairly certain these candidates need greeters at the polling locations. I'm sure the campaign is focusing on the biggest ones, but please reach out. It's probably right there. Either one of the candidates, reach out to them and volunteer some of your time. The biggest traffic at the polling locations on election day is typically in the morning, right before they open, right around lunch, and then dinner. So you don't have to stand there all day, 12 hours. If you're willing to stand just a couple hours and hand out cards for these guys, this is going to be a big upset. If they end up winning next Tuesday, we will send a message as the Grassroots to the party that no, we are in control. The establishment, the financial backers, the uni party swamp are not the ones calling the shots. We, the people, are going to call the shots. And regardless of how it turns out, we're going to keep going. But I'm just kind of excited to see if we're able to pull this off. The other thing that we are promoting right now, so May the 20th, not only get to the polls, get your neighbors, get your friends, get your family to the polls. If we can just increase turnout, primary elections, a few percentage points, it will make all the difference. Joeylynn, who's going to be joining us soon, is a prime example of that. But Audit the Vote has been recruiting people to run for judge of elections or majority inspector positions, which are vital to election integrity because these positions are the head honcho on election day when you go to cast your vote. So we all remember the pizza boxes being shoved up on the windows in Philadelphia. The people that falls on who are responsible for that are the judge of elections. They are the ones that are the boss of the polling place, and they were the ones that ultimately should have taken the fall for that, or that poll watchers and patriots could have stepped up and said, no, you're not allowed to do this. And so getting good, honest, bipartisan, actually, Democrats and Republicans, we want transparency. We want both parties to cover on election day. So getting good, honest patriots in those positions are vital. We're doing an email drip campaign. Thank you to many of you who have pledged that you're going to run. I think just in a couple of days, we've got 31 people across the state that have pledged to run for either judge of elections or inspector. And there's probably more than that. That's just what's in my inbox. And so thank you for answering the call of duty. It is a paid position. So if you don't work, you get some extra money. And if you have to take off work, you're not spending the day not making anything. So that's kind of a bonus. And we're going to train you on how to run a write-in campaign, because at this point, there it is. There's one of the websites that we have launched as our landing page that I will get to stick. I'll get Joel to stick that in the chat. This is one of the emails that we sent out letting people know that 60% of Pennsylvania precincts, no one is running right now. And the danger in this is that if there isn't someone who is an elected judge or inspector, the county then typically appoints people. And I did get an angry email this week, which I need to answer. It wasn't super angry. She had a question. A young lady who follows my Substack was upset because she took this to mean we're calling people out and saying the wording in the email. She got in a little kerfluffle because she thinks we're saying that dishonest people are ending up in these positions because no one's running for them. And that was not what we were suggesting. But what we do know is that in the bluer counties where there tends to be more shenanigans, they appoint Democrats for these roles when they're not already filled. And we don't want them to appoint people that are political operatives. We'd rather have it be a patriot on the ground, be it a Democrat or a Republican. And so Vico did a beautiful job with this landing page. You can even scroll, pick your precinct. Joel, show when you click that button, it's whatever precinct you live in, that's where you want to run. I'm sorry, it's all the way at the bottom. There's a little arrow with a pull down menu when it says precinct. Nope, that's not it. Right side. There you go. Yay! Sort of. There, he did a wonderful job. Pennsylvania has over 9,000 precincts, and he's got every single one of them marked there. So head to that website. We'll put the link in the chat, or if you check your email, check your spam folder. If you're on our email list and you did not get this over the last week or so, I think is when we launched it, check your spam folder. Make sure that you're getting our email so that you can be in the know. And we're looking forward to seeing how this is going to go. Of course, then November 5th, right around the corner, we're going to be doing another push. We believe we have to double check that even if you miss the primary, we can still recruit people in November, but we got to look at the logistics of that. Either way, I'm pretty proud that we got as many people so far as we did inspired to become the judge of elections. It's going to be a game changer for us in Pennsylvania. And again, I will stick that link in the chat, or Joel, if you have the link, and you could stick it in the comments in the chat so people can go check that out and they can pledge to run if they feel so led to do so. I was going to look at comments, but now I lost my private chat that has my agenda. Oh no, okay, I'm gonna go back. I'll look at comments before we bring on Joeylynn. Keep an eye out for her. Let's see, it's 9:16. Okay, I've got like 14 minutes. I want to run through some updates with some bills in Pennsylvania that have come up recently that the grassroots we have got to get on to make sure these wretched things don't go through. First order of business, congratulations. We, I believe, successfully for now shot down what was masquerading as a voter ID bill, HB 771, designed to completely mislead the public and make us think we're going to get voter ID. And it was a train wreck. It was going to stick all sorts of extra things in there that would make it anything other than voter ID, so that you could vote by basically bringing in a utility bill, or, you know, you have to show ID, but ID was loosely defined, a student ID, I don't know, a grocery receipt, something insane. And so Patriots got on the phone. This got dangerous because it made it through and almost got to the House floor where they would have been able to vote on it. We are told as of right now, it is dead in committee. Hopefully it stays dead. That's why we have to stay vigilant and on top of this stuff. I will also say that if you haven't been on the Pennsylvania website to find bills and legislature, I think it's palegis.us, they've revamped it a little bit and it seems to be a little easier to navigate. So go there, check it out, get familiar with your state rep, what party they're on, what committees they're on, what kind of legislation they're working on. This fix has to be absolutely at the local level. And so there is the link Joel pulled up for HB 771. So great job, guys. I know we made a ton of phone calls and reached out this week and we got the job done. They like to do things in the dark of night in Harrisburg. That's pretty common. So don't be surprised if calls to action go out at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, because that's kind of when they like to do things. They voted themselves a pay raise in the early 2000s this way, and they also voted for a gas tax. I only remember this because we were beating up on Senator Jake Corman at the time, because he voted for the biggest gas tax hike we've ever had in the state of Pennsylvania. And I can't remember if it was the early 2000s, if it was 2015, but of course it was passed in the dark of night. Joel, go ahead back and show the Pennsylvania legislator with the HB 771. I do want to show that. So this is HB 771. I believe the main sponsor, prime sponsor, scroll down, is none other than House member Thomas Mahaffey, who has an R by his name, but has not been our friend. The word on the street is that he is technically a Democrat, but ran as a Republican so that he could get elected in his rural district. But he's anything but. He gave us a Democrat Speaker of the House 2 or 3 years ago when Republicans still held a very slim majority in the House, and he crossed over and voted with the Democrats to give us a Democrat Speaker of the House. Hopefully we've got a candidate. Somebody's working in his area on a candidate to replace him, because he's anything but a Republican. But look at all the co-sponsors on this horrific bill. Valerie Gatos, she's in my area in Allegheny County, also voted to make Pennsylvania a sanctuary city for abortion. She masquerades as a Republican. In my opinion, she is not. Let's see who else is on there that I know. Rep. Ed Nelson, he's in Westmoreland County. I know Susanna DeGite loves Ed, so I'm not at all surprised to see a lot of these people with R's by their name that have voted for this bill. Truly, though, I need to get more familiar with the legislators. I've been a little bit out of the loop on the new ones coming in. When we were launching the petition in 2021, in 2022, I was fairly familiar with everyone because I thought we were going to get an audit and we were just pounding their phones. I was sending emails every week. And now some of them, I look at those names and I don't really know. Shelby Labs, I don't know. Malou McKenzie, they have R's by their names. Why are you sponsoring this horrific voter ID bill. It's anything but voter ID. I'm almost to the point where I don't trust them so much that just like, don't do anything when you're in session. Can you just don't pass anything. Don't touch the election code. Leave it alone. You've already done enough damage to it. Let's just work towards repealing Act 77, which Audit the Vote we are working on a plan for. So that's HB 771. Two bills that you have to know about that we got to get on the horn. The first one is Senate Bill 9. And Joel, if you'll pull up just the Spotlight PA article on that one, Senate Bill 9 is a supposedly sweeping election integrity bill introduced by the Democrats. Joanna McClinton, who is our Speaker of the House, introduced this bill. It is heinous. It will codify all the things that are wrong with our elections. It will expand for actual early voting, not the fake early voting that Early Vote Action is pushing, but actual early voting. It is also going to allow pre-canvassing, meaning right now when you mail in a ballot, it actually stays in the envelope until election day. It cannot be opened before 7 a.m. on election day. This bill wants to change that under the guise of saying, well, there's too many mail ballots and we can't count them all in time, which the only time they really had a problem with that was 2020, oddly enough. Isn't that strange? And so Democrats have come forward and put this bill out saying that we need all of this reform, and it's horrific. It's got stuff for drop boxes in it. So it is, what is it? No, it's not Senate Bill 9. I said it was Senate Bill 9. It's not. It is HB 1376. I had notes somewhere. Is that it? Yes. 1396. Oh my gosh, am I butchering this? Let me take a breath. Okay. House Bill 1396 is this bill. Early voting, voter ID out as Democrats advance sweeping election bill. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Please, please, please get on the phone and send an email, call their social medias, right on their social medias, because they hate that because it's public and by law, they're not allowed to delete comments from their constituents. Get on their Facebook pages where they usually have the biggest following. Get on their Twitter pages and comment, vote no on House Bill 1396. It's terrible. Democrats, Republicans, all of them. None of them are off the table. I don't care if you're a Republican, you have a Democrat rep, reach out to them and tell them, no, 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 leave the elections alone. This bill just passed the House. And actually, it's not it's still your House rep is good. Hammer them anyway, because there's a whole nother Matt Bradford, a Democrat from Montgomery County. He's the House Majority Leader. We're going to talk about him also next in the Senate bill that we're going to go through. But this particular one passed the House and is going to the Senate. So our only chance of stopping this right now is getting on our senators. We do have a slim majority in the Senate of Republicans, and so this should stop there. But if we've learned anything since 2020, sitting on our hands and waiting for something to happen usually doesn't work out. So please call your senator. Again, right on their social media pages, their Facebook. Send them an email, call their office, tell them to stop House Bill 1396. Think I beat the horse completely dead. And I've got 7 minutes before Joeylynn shows up, and we've got another bill we need to talk about. Do you believe that there are Democrats that are against protecting women in sports? That they actually think it's okay for someone born a man who decides they want to be a woman, which if you're a grown adult and that's what you want to do, I think it's a little weird, but you know, that's your prerogative. But you shouldn't be allowed to play against a woman in sports because you have a genetic advantage. And it's literally ripping women's rights right out from under us. I don't know how Democrats don't see this, but this is the one Matt Bradford, a Democrat from Montgomery County, House Majority Leader, is supporting. Now, here's the, Democrat Pennsylvania State Rep flatly tells teen girls he will block bill protecting women's sports. This is Senate Bill 9. So this passed the Senate with bipartisan support, 32-18 this week. Scroll up, Joel, because I think it said that in there. Peter Schweier is the House rep who is in this particular Twitter post that shows everything. Look at the comments. Look at keeps Peter Schweier. He says he's an Allentown kid, state representative, PA District 134, and majority chair of the House Education Committee. How are you on the Education Committee and you're against women's rights? You think that men should play in women's sports? Oh, there's his pronouns. Well, that tells us a lot, doesn't it? pronouns right there. Oh my gosh, these people make my head explode. Please go right on his Twitter page. He's a lunatic because this bill, again, it passed the Senate with bipartisan support. All it has to do is pass the House. If we get 2 Democrats to vote for this bill, it goes before Governor Shapiro's desk, and we have to force him to take a stand on women's rights. And if he doesn't stand with women and he allows this charade to continue, that will be something we can beat up on him for and potentially chuck him out of the governor's office in 2026. There are 3 Democrat reps that are blocking, that are coming out saying they will not support this. Their names are this one right here, Peter Schweier, Matthew Bradford, that Joel has in there. He's a Democrat from Montgomery County, happens to be the House Majority Leader, and Joanna McClinton, our wonderful, crazy leftist lunatic liberal from the Philadelphia side of the state. Joanna McClinton, Speaker of the House. She is also saying that they will block this bill. Guys, think the insanity. This is why we can't go back to sleep, because literal insanity has invaded and will take over. Why in the world would you want men in women's sports or not be willing to stand up and protect women? It is literal insanity. Oh my gosh. So my special guest is here. I got through all of the news I needed to just in time. I can't wait to have her back. Joeylynn Mesaros. She is a Constitution coach with Patriot Academy, and she is doing amazing things in her backyard. She made national headlines because she was sued by the Biden administration. Pull Joeylynn on screen for me, Joel. I do want her to, hey girl.
Hey, Toni.
It's so good to see you. Girl, for my own heart. Now, I want to focus tonight on what you just accomplished in the primary, because when I heard you on Coach's Corner last week, I'm like, that is what Pennsylvania needs to hear. But for my audience that maybe didn't watch the first time I had you on, can you just give a quick snapshot of how you got involved in the politics and everything with Free Speech Defender? Just give us an overview.
Yes. So the elevator pitch on that is in 2020, I was not involved in politics. I didn't even know the difference between a Democrat and a Republican. Fast forward to finally figuring out I probably should vote in the presidential election. We thought we would support Donald Trump, and it looked like fun to fly a Trump flag on the back of our truck. So when we heard the Biden-Harris campaign bus was coming through our town, we drove with other Trump supporters next to it, hoping to make viral news and get Trump's attention. We did. It went national and went viral. What we were not prepared for was getting sued for it under the Ku Klux Klan law in federal court by triggered snowflake liberals that were on the bus, including what would be later White House officials under Biden's administration, Democrat politicians, and liberal influencers. And that trial lasted 4 years in federal court, costing nearly $500,000 for what was 0 criminal charges. It was just a civil complaint where they said they had emotional damage, which they couldn't even prove. And we had to fight for our right to free speech, which is God-given and cannot be given or taken by man. I did not know that at the time. Patriot Academy came alongside me, educated me, taught me about my rights, and it empowered me to stand in the gap and fight for not just my rights, but everybody else's, which resulted in a win for free speech at the federal level, being referred to as a landmark case for free speech rights. That we're proud to say we won. We were victorious in September of 2024, 4 years after driving next to the bus. By God's grace. And so it just wound up giving me a platform, a passion, and a voice for educating others. And when I see an injustice, it builds up within me. I have to take action. And so now I spend my time speaking out at a local level and encouraging those around me to get involved and get the vote out.
Woo! So you were thrown right into the fire, kind of like I was. We were clueless. I use this all the time. You say, I was a checked out American. That was me. And we're like poster children for what's wrong with the country.
We are.
Like, this is what was wrong, is regular average people like her and I were just completely checked out, living our lives, raising our kids. And that was that. And she got thrust into this way harder than I did, with getting sued by the Biden administration before the election, right? Didn't they drop that lawsuit on you before the 2020 election?
So they actually dropped that lawsuit after 8 months later. So we drove next to the bus during its campaign. They waited until they were in the White House and after January 6th. But they referenced us in the impeachment hearing, right? The impeachment trial against President Trump. They mentioned us and they referred to us as the precursor to January 6th, which is what they were trying to hang that case on. And so it was, I think they were cooking something up for a while. They were just trying to figure out what they could get to stick to the wall. And so 8 months later, right, we're long gone, not thinking about that at all anymore. And it's like, what? We had to hear about it on CNN, and that's how we were informed. Literally every update from that trial we got from the media first before they filed with the court. It was insane to live it.
Oh my God. So I knew I screwed this up every time. So the rally was before the election, but it was 8 months after the election that they came after you.
Yes.
And I know that it was a huge win. Your court case in September was an enormous win. Yes, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. By the way, I forgot to say that when we started the show so that you know when we go live, but like, share, and subscribe so we can boost our views and get more stories like Joeylynn's out there. Of course, she has her own massive following on Instagram. So proud of her for everything that she's doing and the videos that she makes and how involved she's gotten in her community, which we're going to have her talk about. But before we do that, Joel, can you share the Free Speech Defender website? Because give us an update, Joeylynn. After you won your court case, I know you went on Rick's show, The Tavern, and I was crying with you guys, the tears of joy that you actually fought for your freedom and you got it back and how relieved you were. But you didn't just end there. You've decided to punch back. So tell us what that is looking like right now.
Well, you just recapping that podcast with Rick brought tears to my eyes because I was just remembering how I realized that it was that freedom that they had taken away from us. And so you don't really value something until you have fought for it like that. So we are fighting back. You're absolutely right. We are countersuing. At this point, I'd love to sue them for emotional damage, but our legislation has written that the plaintiff in a civil case has protections that they should not have as government officials, but they do. And so it really limits our recourse to go back after them. So really our only ability is to request that they pay our legal fees, which we are doing, and they have a bad attitude about it. And so we are waiting to hear from the judge that we were assigned, because that's who we had to file it with. We know that that is going to probably be turned down, and we'll have to appeal that to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. It's probably going to be another 2-year battle and fight to hold them accountable, to restore to us what they've taken financially, not emotionally, but financially. But we feel that's important, especially because we still owe $46,000 in legal fees. Like, even for everything God provided for us when we fundraised, it still wasn't the entire total of the bill that we incurred from our attorney. As you know, we were not able to get financial support from First Amendment rights nonprofits. Nobody wanted to touch it with a 10-foot stick. And so we worked with a gentleman who gave us a discounted rate, but we do still owe him $46,000. So on the website there, you can see our Give tab. Thank you for highlighting that. We still need help with our fundraiser, so that we can be equipped going back after them. So we want to be able to hold them accountable, and basically an imprecatory psalm, right? Like, we go after our enemy. We put our foot on their throat and we take back what the enemy, we say, stop thief, you've been caught, right? Give back what you've taken times 10. So that's where we're at.
Amen. David Barton teaches us in Constitution Alive, and probably biblical citizenship too, to assert our rights. This is what asserting our rights looks like. We're taught to read and study the Constitution so that we'll know it and better perceive when our rights are violated, so that we're more prepared to defend them, which is what she did in court, but then assert them. And asserting them is what she's doing right now. They are punching back and they are saying, heck no. And I absolutely love supporting causes like yours, Joeylynn. I'm going to make a donation when we get off of here tonight. So I would ask my audience to prayerfully consider, even, you have no idea, even $5, $10, $20 will add up and make a difference.
Yes,
I just got an email.
We made it this far. Thank you for saying that. It was because of people who did $5, $10, and $20 that we were able to stay in the fight. And so thank you for also personally giving of your fortune and your sacred honor to help support us. I love that you mentioned what David Barton talks about with knowing your rights, defending your rights, and asserting your rights. I had to, and we've talked about this before off camera, but I had to learn this backwards. I wound up accidentally asserting my rights. I didn't even know them. And then now I have to defend rights I don't know I have. And so Patriot Academy really equipped me in that, which is why I'm so passionate to educate people so that before the bottom falls out, they've got that solid foundation.
Amen. Oh my gosh. Amen. Liberty Lion. Yes. Do you want to meet David Barton? You need to come to Texas to Patriot Academy's Coach Congress in August, where all the Constitution coaches, that's all you have to do is be signed up as a coach. We gather there and we go through the legislative simulation where you write a bill and you learn how it is argued in committee and on the floor. That's where I met Joeylynn last year. I think, Joeylynn, what was that experience like? Would you recommend somebody going to that?
You guys, you have to go. I was so overwhelmed when I went, but people like Toni and other Patriot Academy coaches were so encouraging and kind. I almost bailed out because I thought to myself, what did I sign up for? This seems overwhelming, cumbersome, long days, right? Like I thought we were going to have like a fun little party, and I'm like, I have to work. It was so good for my soul. What I learned, it's one of those things where like you hear it, you do it, you speak it, you're retaining it. And so the things that I learned at Patriot Academy, the connections that I made, I heard Bonnie Wallace speak at Patriot Academy. I'd never heard or met her before. And what I learned at Patriot Academy at that leadership congress where I heard her speak, I have now gone with her to the Capitol and testified on legislation and followed the process from getting bills into the committee, out of the committee, to the calendars committee, scheduled, getting with our representatives and pushing them to get onto the floor, right? And so I'm like, I know how this process works because I did this in the most realistic simulation that America has at Patriot Academy's campus. And so God is just so amazing in how he doesn't waste a single moment. Everything is so multifaceted and he's so efficient in all of his workings. And so what I'm over here thinking is the fight of my life is really just the beginning of an amazing opportunity to do so many things I never thought I would have the ability or the courage or the knowledge or the desire to do.
And you know what, all that stuff you just spouted out about arguing a bill on the floor in committee, like I didn't even know what those terms meant 5 years ago, right?
No, I know. And people are like, oh, well, you know so much. And I'm like, you have no clue how little I actually know. I just do it. I'll figure it out. I'll just get there and figure it out. I'll Google it. I'll ask ChatGPT what's going on. I will not. I know it's the spiritual enemy, right? That ChatGPT is our spiritual enemy. I'm like, I will not ask him anything faith related. I will ask him data. Okay. How did this representative vote in the past? And it's like, and I'm, got the information I need and I didn't have to spend 2 hours finding it. And so I'll figure it out and then I'll tell somebody else. And God's just been faithful to equip me with awesome people like you that make it fun, right? It's just exciting, like to be with my people.
Yep. And she's right. It's intense. It's a lot, but it is so worth it. And quite frankly, it's how we save the republic and how we rebuild liberty is learning how that process works, immersing ourselves in it. Start paying attention in your state. Oh my gosh, start paying attention, which leads me, Joe, cue up that video. I shared with him. You're posting a ton of stuff on your Instagram. I love it. I pulled one video up of you, I believe, speaking at a city council meeting, or I don't know if it's county commissioner, but Joe, City Council. Okay. I'd like Joel to pull that up because I want to show people like she's not just fire behind the camera on a podcast. She's fire in real life. And it's not easy.
You said, I don't care what the boomers want because they'll be dead in 30 years and this town is not for them. We asked you to apologize, but you would not do that. In the reels and videos I posted exposing your discrimination and the corruption and self-serving interests, those videos received over 481,305 views with a total watch time of 3,740 hours. That is like filling 7 Super Bowl stadiums and playing those videos on the Jumbotron for 155 days straight without bathroom breaks.
Mrs. Mesaros, do you have anything you'd like to say that isn't insulting or if you'd like to address council about something that you want council to address, but we don't care to listen to you insult one of the council members.
Mayor, I would like to say that the same demonstration that we prove to citizens that want change in this city, we will do with your position and the other council members next that are disrespecting us, silencing us, and refusing to take action like protecting our children and defending the elderly who are being discriminated against. Mr. Campos, my final thoughts are that I know you didn't swear in on a Bible and you walked out during a prayer, but today I declare that God is on his throne and you've been knocked off yours.
sick of that mayor. He is such a sniffly faced little pansy nerd. We need real godly men in positions of leadership, and we have to look inward and realize that we have not elected the right people when we have somebody like that telling the citizens during citizens' comment and citizens' concern that they can't air concerns when a council member is openly discriminating against a constituency that he represents and saying he does not care what they want because they'll be dead soon anyways, and this town is not for them. And we're asking that council member to apologize and the mayor to hold him accountable, but I'm the one that is insulting them. Got it. Like, talk about a free speech rights infringement. You know, I'm on the phone with my constitutional rights attorney that I happen to know and filing an ethics complaint in regards to this infringement on my basic right to free speech. So that's in the works.
Share this. People that are out there, what can I do? What do I do? This, her, right there. What you just saw. That's what you can do. Go get involved, stand up, use your voice, speak your piece. So you were basically, he was saying he didn't care about boomers because they'd be dead in 30 years. That came from the mayor?
So the mayor and the council member were having a conversation in a private planning and development meeting that they did not realize was being recorded and available for public access. And so the council member says, I don't care what the boomers want. They'll be dead in 30 years anyways. This town is not for them. What we want are less yards, more apartments, smart city, right? Like all this stuff. Then the mayor says, I'm sick of all the naysayers. They don't know what's best for them. We know better for them than they know for themselves. So we're just going to have to ignore them and do what we believe is right. Which is interesting because we, the people, elect these public servants not to rule over us, but to represent us. And so if we are coming by the masses and saying we don't like this, that's kind of what you need to do and respond to, react to, and represent. And they don't know that. And so, you know, we've been coming and educating them on that, and they don't care. They are not used to, see, here's the problem. When you have weak leaders who don't have morals or any character or any anchoring in a higher power, then you have nothing to anchor yourself on. So what you believe is right. And then you're not used to accountability. And so when somebody comes in with accountability, it feels like an insult. Problem is, that's how it works. So the mayor's next. The city council member that said that to the mayor, while they were talking, the city assistant said, I just like to remind you guys that this is being recorded. And so I posted that whole video. It's hysterical. Like, somebody awkwardly sips a cup of coffee. I like zoom in on that. You know, it's like, I love exposing it. People have no idea what's going on, and I want to highlight that for people and bring it to life. And so I determined that day I would ensure that council member would not be reelected. And I went to another council meeting. I go often. There are lots of videos. And I said,
they probably love you. They love you, right?
They do. They do. They hate me. And so they hate me, but it's okay. It's okay.
They hate me too here.
Yeah, right? You're doing something right. And so when a corrupt person hates you, like, that's a compliment. So I told him, I said, if you're not going to apologize, I believe you should step down. It's unethical, and I believe that you should resign your position. If you are unwilling to do that, then you better not have the audacity to run for re-election. And you know that that man launched a re-election campaign bigger than Texas. He had PACs endorsing him. And I thought to myself, oh, with the Lord's help, no. And girl, we're here today to talk about a record-breaking win where that man was knocked off his throne.
Yes! Oh my gosh, I love it. So that's it. Now go into that. I mean, I could leave. Like, I don't need the show. You guys, I wanted her in front of my audience because we have to be bolder in Pennsylvania and do stuff like this. So talk about what just happened in your primary that you knocked him off his high horse, and tell my audience about that.
Oh man, you know, he was putting in work too, and he thought he had it covered. It was not enough for the grassroots effort that surged in our town. So it didn't even hold a candle. So one of the videos that I made and highlighted that received all the views that I mentioned about him indicated that he won by 11 votes, that the voter turnout was so low in our Republican town, our conservative town, that a progressive won because the progressives were getting out the vote, and only 333 people showed up in District 1 to vote. And so he won by 11 votes. That's atrocious. And our town then was handed over to a liberal majority. And so I'm over here talking. Yes, I see somebody saying that Act Blue are being used to funnel money. Yes. He's aligned with those groups and organizations that funnel that. So,
and what's his term? How long is his term? How many years ago was this?
So it's a 2-year term.
Okay.
And so, girl, we've been on a countdown. I promise you, from day one, it has been a 2-year countdown. And so in his time, I'm sorry, I'm like going all over the place. People were like, what? This man is in office? He won by how many votes? Why aren't people voting? Like, it was starting to agitate people and wake people up. You couldn't go to any Facebook group in our town, New Braunfels Locals, New Braunfels Buy and Sell Trade, and the videos were everywhere, right? It's just you scroll and it's my face after my face after my face, and people are like, have you seen this? Did you know about this? And so on election day, hundreds of people that could not vote for this man showed up they couldn't vote in this district against this man. Showed up to vote because they saw the videos and were just so upset. They wanted to do something but didn't know what or how. They didn't understand districts, how they were divided. They didn't know anything. And so people are texting me and messaging me, I saw your video and I went to vote, but they wouldn't let me vote because I wasn't in the district. And I'm like, this is amazing anyways, because people now understand that there are districts. Now they understand what their district is. Now they know when their district race is next. Now they know that their district person is also terrible. And when does their election come up next? So we're not only getting the vote out for District 1, but all the other districts are getting educated. And so we had parties. We had block walking fun parties where we would wear fun and cute outfits. We would have evenings where we'd have cheese and coffee and crackers and snacks and drinks, and we'd do phone banking. We were doing texting out. We were doing, citizen generated meet and greets with the candidates, because our local GOP, guys, hear me on this. This, I think, was my biggest frustration, and I hope y'all have a better setup in your counties than we do in ours. But our local GOP refuses to get involved in city council races because they're nonpartisan, which is the literal biggest crock I've ever heard in my life, because everybody plays politics. Everybody has beliefs, and they're going to impart those when they're elected. And so we have a group here called the Progressive Coalition, who's determined to flip Comal County blue. And they have promised and advertised that if you're running for school board, if you're running for city council, it doesn't matter what position you're running for. We want to financially support you and provide you with a team of people to block walk. We're going to help ensure that you get elected so we can flip Comal County blue. And then our Republican county chair is saying, no, I don't think we're going to get involved because it's nonpartisan. But they campaign.
Sound familiar, Pennsylvania? Sound familiar?
Does it? Well, that person campaigned on getting out the vote. So what it did is, and it frustrates me all to no end, y'all. I promise. I filed ethics complaints. I tried going to the Texas GOP. Nobody cares and is listening like I want them to. So that resulted in us having to do something. Yes, exactly. We had to find fine, get out of the way. We'll do it ourselves, right? And so it's moms and grandmas and uncles and kids, right? And we're like, we'll do it then. And you guys, we took a scrawny, puny 4% historical voter turnout and tripled it to 12% turnout. But when you look at the district, there were multiple districts that were up for election in New Braunfels. And the other voter turnout in the other districts was still at 3 and 4%. It was just our district where we put this work in to get this man out, that it was tangible results. And I have to give God the glory for the ideas, the energy, the people, the passion. It was a phenomenal race. And y'all, it went from crazy to crazy to crazier. There was a Republican candidate that was watering down the vote. So we had three people running for city council, 2 Republicans. And we're like, stop, somebody has to drop out because this is going to water down the vote and it's going to ensure that he wins. And neither would. And I appreciate that Toni Carter, a female, another Toni, Toni, is who won this race, a total boss babe, not even a dude, a female. But George Green, the other Republican running, he's posting on Facebook how conservatives and MAGA Republicans are modern day Ku Klux Klan, but asking Republicans to vote for him.
Oh!
Videos on him. I did videos on Andres Campos. I did videos on, y'all may see this is actually going viral right now. There's a pastor, and that's a strong word, a pastor in our town who's a lesbian, and she emphasizes that they do not talk about sin at their church. They host drag shows, family-friendly drag shows. They love debauchery. They endorse Andres Campos. She has recently, this church and her church, and we fight with them at city council on trying to remove sexually explicit books from the library because we have the porn problem in our library, right? It's not that we're banning books. We're not burning books. We're saying take the porn out of the children's section, okay? You don't have to burn it or ban it. Just move it.
Away from the children, please. This isn't a Diddy party, okay?
It's not a Diddy party. My son would love that you said that. He would think that's hysterical. That's like, he's young and there's these memes about like the Diddy parties. And so it's like, that would be like saying kids need to have sex toys on the toy aisle. Absolutely not. Get the porn out. You do not need to sexually charge these children at this age. But this pastor is saying that these children need access to those books in order for us to be inclusive and diverse for the gay community. And so she's currently going viral right now. If you go to my page, you'll see the video. I've already shared it. This is a pastor in our town. She's saying what she believes as a pastor and at their church. It's psychotic. This is the issue that we're facing as grassroots citizens when our local party sleeps. People like this never rest. And they're trying to flip our counties and fill the seats and support the candidates while Republicans are too busy going to work, going to soccer games, cooking dinner, saying their prayers, and going to bed. We have to be more active because these people do not take breaks. So we have to figure out a way to share the load so that we can go to the soccer games, cook the dinner, but also be at the city council meetings, also be up in the school board meetings. Are you pulling that video up?
I am sending it to Joel right now. Yeah. So Joel, pull that up and let's play it with sound, and then we'll do the other two, because I just want you guys to see what she's doing. Because I get that question all the time. What can I do? And you don't have to go on social media, but she's utilizing what she's given. So that's what you need to do.
It's working great. People are looking for information on my page. So now there's been a shift where I would share videos.
Frequently asked questions on this local election, on this local voting. Not everyone has something on their ballot.
Not that one, Joel. It's the one I just sent you.
That was just voter education.
Yeah, we don't have to do that. I just wanted to show people the type of stuff you're putting on your social media so that they can see.
You're not going to believe this video I'm about to show you. This is here in my small town of New Braunfels, Texas.
I'm a pastor. Of course, I believe that all lives matter, but right now, Black lives are the ones under attack. I'm a pastor. Of course, I take seriously God's command to welcome those who are foreigners in your land, because you too are once strangers in a strange land.
It gets worse.
I'm a pastor. Of course, I believe in the separation of church and state, which means theology never gets codified into law. I'm a pastor. Of course, I believe in healing brokenness, but you will never hear about shame, judgment, or even sin at this church. I'm a pastor. Of course, I believe that all lives are sacred, which means that women and those who can bear children should make the decisions that they, their doctor, their family, and their God believes is best for them. I'm a pastor. Of course, I believe in the salvific nature of the cross, but it was because Jesus non-violently stood up to empire and refused to fight back or back down, not because some immature, unhealthy parent of a God required blood and guts. I'm a pastor. Of course, I believe we should be exactly as God designed us to be, which means that queer lives are worthy, divine, beloved, and acceptable exactly as they are, no exceptions.
And you can see here that she's had a satanic themed drag show at her church that's family friendly. And she does story time with children where they sit on top of this giant like gay flag And like, yeah, it's pray for those children at that church.
I don't honestly, Joeylynn, I don't even know what to say. I don't know how, like, I get it's so perverted. Like, no, we don't, guilt and shame is from Satan, but sin is our nature. How do you not preach against that? Like,
what? We don't talk about that here, right? Because y'all don't want to have to stop that.
Oh my.
It's insane.
And separation of church and state, for those that have maybe never taken a Patriot Academy class, find it. If you can find it, I will give you $10,000 if you can find it in the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, or the Bill of Rights. Toni at auditthevotepa.com. Send it. No, and I don't have $10,000 to give anybody.
Spoiler alert, it says it ain't in there.
Spoiler alert, it's nowhere in there. Oh my gosh.
You cannot make this stuff up, but this is in a conservative town. This is in a small conservative town. That woman doesn't even live in this town. She commutes to the church that she has here. Giant pride flag outside. And so these are the people that are backing the candidates that are running for school board and city council while our party's being quiet. And so it really fell on the people to stand up and say, we have got to make sure that we get this election right. We've got to restore the majority. Praise God, we've done it. And now I feel that people are ready for the next one. People are saying, which council members next? Who do we vote out next? When is the mayor up for election? And so we've awakened a giant. City council is on their toes. They can feel the heat. And I'm so glad, because it's about time that they did. They've just done whatever they want to do. It's kind of like Biden's administration. Like, okay, you had your 4-year fun, psychotic playground. Now it's time for the adults to get back to work and fix what you broke.
I laugh as a coping mechanism. It's not funny. It's just how we survive.
Yes. It's like, how is this real? How is this real? But people in our town don't know that that's happening. So when I post videos like that, they're like, what? That's here? Where is that church? What is going on? So, it's been an interesting ride to inform people. And I think the beauty of having been so completely defamed in the media and our character being shredded and destroyed in the lawsuit where they framed us out as Ku Klux Klan, white supremacists, domestic terrorists. It's awesome now because I have nothing to lose. Like, nobody can hurt my feelings. Nobody can take anything away from me. I'll post this stuff, and if you want to look at it, great. If you have something bad to say, like, I don't even care. Like, you must not be listening. Like, do you see what's, like, the people who are like, well, we are going to be dead in 30 years. He's not wrong. Like, well, okay. I don't know why you would beg for more of this. I can't help you with that. I'm so sorry for you that you think that's an appropriate way to govern. But it's not. There's actually this thing called discrimination, which you typically tend to act like you care about until it's inconvenient.
Let me be clear about this too. I have friends, gay and lesbian friends, but they're like sane, they just, they keep it to themselves. Like Brandon Strzok and I are becoming friends. He's not like,
you know that he was also sued under the Ku Klux Klan law?
Yes, I just found that out. Yes. Like, what a sweetheart and genuine. And like, it's not about that. It's like, this is just front and center.
No. Yeah. Like we should all be able to agree on some things, right? Like protecting children, discriminating against the elderly, right? Like getting porn out of the children's section, and reasonable people can, right? And I used to try to like apologize or make space for like, I'm not trying to be racist. I'm not trying to, but the right ones find me. Like they'll say, I'm gay and I agree. This is wrong, right?
This is crazy. I know.
I cannot ever convince the ones that are, scales on their eyes, like immovable. And it's like, I gotta pray. The harvest is ripe. You can't gain the world and have your soul. And these poor people have gained the world and lost their soul. That's the problem. And so it's heavy. It's a heavy weight. It's a deep, deep weight, and it's a big problem. And as Christians, our job is to speak truth and make heaven crowded. And we have seen in our Bible, the example of Moses' republic and the government God laid out for him to ensure there was order, there was peace, that they were able to live freely so that they could worship their God in peace and prosperity. And there's always been an enemy that seeks to steal, kill, and destroy that and come against us. And it's frustrating to watch people crave that and to want that, right? We have to want it more. We have to want to be free more in pursuit of what God wants for us. And we have to keep our eye on the prize of getting to heaven, right? Like, we can't live for the day and we can't live for comfort. We want to arrive and we want to hear, well done, my good job. Well done, my faithful servant.
So
I don't want to miss a chance to impact a life that needs to hear truth.
Amen. Amen. And it's complete insanity to sexualize children. And, we're in a kind of a public social media battle with Scott Pressler right now. And he's like the antithesis from what I've seen on Brandon Strzok. Like, he's so out there with it, like posted pictures of him in bed with another dude. Like, I don't post pictures of me and my husband in bed. It's just, why does sex have to be like out there? Period. Just leave it at home. Like,
yeah. What a profound idea.
But then again, if you look at, television over the last 50 years, like, this has been slowly seeping in through our entertainment and normalizing it and just making us almost numb. So here we are.
And with addiction and perversion, you always need more to get that fix or to get that high, right? Like, what used to do it for you doesn't do it anymore. You used to get drunk off a couple of beers. Now you need a 6-pack. You used to get drunk off a 6-pack. Now you need a case. You used to get drunk off a case. Now you need hard liquor. When we've got sexually debased people trying to fulfill a need, they're having to take it to the next level. And that's where we're seeing those kinds of things happening, right? They're chasing a high, and they're really just trying to fill a void that only God can fill.
Yes, they are. And it's not just like gays. It's all sexual perversion. It's not, it comes in many forms.
It does. It absolutely does. I mean, there's this woman, this amazing reporter, one of the few. That's like it's like an oxymoron. There's this amazing reporter in Texas for the Texas Scorecard. Her name is Erin Anderson. And she has focused all her time and energy on exposing pedophiles in the public school system. And you would wish and hope that somebody could not make a career out of this. Unfortunately, she posts 5 to 10 a day on her social media page. She's like, here's the daily roundup in Texas. Here's this cafeteria person, this elementary school teacher, this cheerleading coach, this soccer coach, this football. It's so sick and disturbing. And, maybe some of those people are gay. I'd be willing to bet most of them aren't. I don't think it's just a gay problem. It's a heart problem. It's a heart problem, y'all. Yeah.
My high school geometry teacher, this was a handful of years ago, who I thought was a great guy, was arrested, I think, when school was in session for child pornography. My high school geometry teacher. It's everywhere. It's disgusting.
Everywhere. It's everywhere. So when you see people, we're talking now, I don't think there's time to get you this image. So I'll just show it up really ghetto. I don't even know if this is going to work. So it's backwards, but this is the page of the Facebook page for the gay church that I just showed y'all the pastor of. This is learning how to spell. It says cab, bag, and here it says penis. And in the comment section, and it has an arrow pointing to the crotch. I'll show it one more time because I know it's backwards.
It's not bad. We can see it. It's not.
Oh, it's not. Okay. So in the comment section, it says, their church has a long history of supporting comprehensive sexuality education for our young. And here's the pastor with the children on that diversity flag.
No, this is for a parent to decide. I can't.
So when we hear that these things are happening in schools and then stuff like that is happening, I mean, it doesn't take much to connect dots to me.
I can't. I just can't. Oh my gosh, I'm overheating.
Yeah, right.
Okay, a couple more questions. We're going to wind down because we're going over an hour, but our views are actually going up because I think they're enjoying your fired up stance that you're taking here. So what would the one video that I do want Joel to show, I just wanted people to see what you were doing on social media, because most of the volunteers I interact with Audit the Vote, and even the coaches at Patriot Academy, are baby boomers. They're not super into social media, and they don't necessarily have to be, but if they want to be, I just want people to see what you're doing to reach the Gen X, the millennials, the younger generation, and then I want you to talk about, how did you guys triple the turnout? Did you have a plan? What did it look like? first, Joel, if you'd pull up, I think it's that middle video. It's one of the videos I sent you because you had I posted today when I was promoting tonight, the Jazzercise video. Joeylynn, when I looked at that on your Facebook, I was like, what is this girl doing?
Whatever it takes, Toni.
But it was so, when I realized what it was, I'm like, that is really clever. Let's get physical. That is so clever.
I can't believe I have to do this again. Things go from crazy to crazier. So you guys remember the reel where I said the councilman didn't care what the boomers want because they'd be dead in 30 years and that he was up for re-election and we have to vote him out. Well, his two opponents included two conservatives, so I thought. Conservative George Green makes a Facebook post that says all MAGA Republicans are Ku Klux Klan and running New Braunfels into the ground. What? He's part of Republican clubs. I would call him a friend. This is news to me. So we say, George, what do you mean? And he doubles down. He was actually in city council years ago and he filed a report with the Texas Rangers saying that the New Braunfels Sheriff and Police Department were discriminating against him for being black because they told him he couldn't park in a no parking zone. Meanwhile, I'm trying to grasp all of this and I get a letter in the mail from Republican County Commissioner Kevin Webb. And he's endorsing Andres Campos, who just said he didn't care what the boomers want because they'd be dead. Not only that, Andres Campos did a proclamation at a family-friendly drag show in our county declaring New Braunfels a city of gay pride. But in Republican County Commissioner Kevin Webb's letter, he says Andres Campos is fundamentally conservative and to vote for him. Even more bonkers than that is the return address on the letter that came from County Commissioner Kevin Webb is the address of Andres Campos' dad's law firm. What is happening in New Braunfels? The clear vote for District 1 is Toni Carter.
Yes. Now that got I'm looking at your Instagram. That video she put out got 405 likes, which tells me we don't have to wait on the party. She took it upon herself and started doing stuff like that. And so in Pennsylvania, Joeylynn, what we're headed into in our primary next week is there's 2 statewide judge races that our state GOP has endorsed, which I am completely against. I don't think the party should endorse what's the purpose of a primary if you're going to endorse a candidate?
Right.
And so the 2 endorsed candidates have not campaigned at all because they're endorsed and they've got literature. And as a committee person, we're supposed to be handing out that literature like good little Republicans. But there are 2 other candidates that are challenging them who are definitely more grassroots driven. And one in particular, I'm 100% behind after this week because he filed a lawsuit in favor of election integrity for one of the counties that's all crazy jacked up. And he's saying, no, enough is enough.
God.
And so, right? So Josh Prince and Maria Batista next Tuesday on our primary, if we are able to get those 2 over the finish line, that will send a message to our establishment GOP like what you just sent to your city council.
Yeah.
No, we're in charge, not you. Tell me, winding down, how did you do it? How did you come up with a plan? How did you get everybody together? Talk to me about that.
So it is a result of 2 years of prayer. I have to give God the credit first. We can't leave out that critical component of waiting on the Lord to do it. We can kick and we can scream and we can fight and we can crawl and we can door knock until our feet and our hands bleed, but he's going to have to deliver the victory. So we have to be praying. We have to be working together. With our gifts and talents, what we're good at. I am good at speaking, so I'm making videos. Somebody else is good at researching, so they're looking up the way somebody's voting. Somebody else is elderly and can't be walking, so they're phone calling. Somebody else does not like being on the phone, so they're texting. We had this sheer determination to figure out what worked best because we were so fed up with what was going on and we wanted it bad enough. We were not willing to concede or to lose, and we didn't want it to be 11 votes again. Like Rick will say, when he lost by less than 20 votes, a homeschool family could have done that. That's true. And we were not going to see that happen in our county again. And so we had, if you look at the numbers, the neighborhoods that turned out the vote the highest were the ones we door knocked the night before the election. We had a flyer. Yes. And we did it in the pouring rain.
So it wasn't magical mail ballots that were sent weeks ahead of time. No.
No. Yeah, exactly. No. It was a ragtag bunch of remnants. It was 12 of us that took probably 500 door knockers. And we did not knock the door. We did not talk to the people. We didn't have time for that, okay, because there were only 12 of us. That had long passed. The door knocking should have been done 3 months ago, right, with the conversations. Okay, we have a list of who's a Republican, who has not voted yet, who is in this district. Those are the houses that get the stuffer shoved right in the door. And we were like little ninjas, like in these neighborhoods, just like running up to the doors. And we had one person driving and 3 people would hop out of the car and we'd hop back in and, we'd do a block at a time. And we had dispatched several units to different neighborhoods. And we were doing it in the pouring rain. Those are the neighborhoods that turned out the vote exponentially. Okay. We have to also look at the candidate. The candidate wanted it. I have block walked my brains out for a candidate who didn't want it. I can't want it more than you, sister. Like, what am I out here doing while you're at home with your family, right? Like, you got to have a candidate that you believe in and that wants it and is tenacious and was willing to fight for it. You have to have a team of people that have identified their strengths and apply them. And you have to do what's uncomfortable. We had 25 people RSVP to that Friday night block walking, but when it started pouring, 15 of them said, oh, sorry, like the weather stinks, I'm not coming, and it's the same people who show up all the time that showed up, rain or shine, and we did it. So, and then the videos, I think, I know that's not everybody's thing. I think it can be accomplished without social media. I think you can have these conversations with people face to face, but it takes more time. I was able to reach a way larger number of people. When I looked at the statistics, you saw that video, it reached 500,000 people. When I added up the 20-something videos that I had published, which was like 7 Super Bowl stadiums full of people watching the videos. And that I couldn't have done. There's no way I could have talked to that many people. But because I put the video out, it reached that many people by me saying, can y'all share this? Can you share this with 5 people? That's how that compound interest grows. And so it wasn't any one thing, but if I had to attribute it to just a few things, it would be prayer, a tenacious candidate, social media presence, and good old-fashioned door knocking, especially the day before the election, to remind people this is critical. If you don't do this, we're losing our town. And might I add, if you cared enough to vote in a presidential election, you should care to vote in your local elections, because these are just as significant, because the way that our founding fathers formatted our foundations of government is that we could have the most impact where we live and build from the ground up. And Toni, I've heard you say at Leadership Congress last year, change does not happen in the White House, change happens in our house. So get out the vote.
I'm done. Drop 12 people. You had 12 people. Isn't that funny? That how many did Jesus have? Just saying.
I never thought of that. That's so cool. And our voter turnout turned up to 12%. That's so cool.
What a difference maker. And so, we're again in a little bit of a public battle in Pennsylvania fighting this early voting, mass mail-in ballots. And people think that means I'm completely against, you should never vote by mail. Actually, people on our social media that are like, I'm going out of town and I did a mail ballot. Is that okay? I'm like, that's absentee. Like, that's what it's for. Of course. That's what it's for. But it sounds like what you guys did is you got a list of your voters and you went, okay, who's already voted? Cross them off. Because if they've already got a mail ballot that's been turned in, we don't need to knock that door. Yep. But who's left? Let's go after those.
Yes, that is what we did, which was a strategy that saved time when we only had just a few people. And similarly to your primary, we couldn't just look at, okay, well, because you could see early voter turnout numbers.
Tell me we didn't totally lose her.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're kind of back. Are you back?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll finish with this thought. I'm sorry. I know we're over on time. In early voting, we were seeing there was a 2-to-1 Republican to Democrat turnout. But we also knew a Republican had endorsed the Democrat, and there were 2 Republicans running. One of them was a rhino. So we're like, that does not guarantee that we have won this thing at all. We can't look at these numbers and sit back and get comfortable.
What's happening to her internet? She's on a roll, Joeylynn. I don't know if it's our internet. Oh, are you back? I hear you. I think.
I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening.
technology, and people don't, there's forces that don't want this message out. It's okay if we have to stop here because this has been fire.
Okay.
The comments, I think I'm going to go through the comments really quickly just to make sure that if somebody has a question, if you've got a question for Joeylynn, drop it in the comments now. We are already, I told her I'd take 30 minutes. We're going on 45. She does have an adorable kiddo and a husband that I want her to be able to get back to you. Yes, comment, like, share, subscribe. If you are in Pennsylvania, we will get this clipped into reels that we are going to share every day from now until primary day, which is Tuesday, May the 20th. Get this out. We can make a difference. I'm so inspired, Joeylynn. I knew when you talked last week on Coach's Corner, I'm like, Pennsylvania has got to hear from this girl, because the grassroots are, some of them are encouraged, some of them are dejected, some of them are like lost in the drama that's happened over the last week and a half. Like, no, game on. Like, let's go. We've got 6 days now. 6 days. We can do this. And you are living proof.
Do it. Yeah, I am. I'm here to tell you my testimony. We will overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And we love not our lives, but to the death. So
woohoo. I don't see any questions. I think we've gotten to everything. Joeylynn, you are so inspiring. It is an honor to be fighting just shoulder to shoulder with you. I know you're doing amazing things with Patriot Academy's curriculum and are using, did you use that with any of this parties? Like, did you do anything with, it's okay if you didn't. I should have asked before It
was just woven into all of it because it's in the fiber of now who I am.
Yep.
A lot of what I say at city council and then I put in videos, people are like, oh, that's amazing. I love how you said that. I'm like, that was a quote from our founding fathers. I learned that in biblical citizenship. It's not me. It's the good stuff that you're craving. It's the Bible. It's, truth.
Awesome.
And so anyways, no, I didn't in the election specifically, but I do a lot of that separately. So
anyway, yep.
Yeah.
PatriotAcademy.com. Education is key. The fix is local. If it was not for that curriculum, I would have never had the guts to stand up or even know that I should stand up.
Same. We're twins.
Love this girl. Oh, it has been an honor. I would hate to take up your time, but anytime you want to come back and share a message, girl, you have an open invitation. You're welcome. I go live every Wednesday night at 9:00. So you just let me know, hey, I've got a message for Pennsylvania. If God puts it on your heart and you're coming on, because this was incredible.
I love that. Wow. Thank you. That is such a blessing to me. I've loved spending this time with y'all. Your energy gets me excited. It keeps me inspired and keeps wind in my sails. And I love that we got to sharpen iron together. And I hope that you guys just get that vote out and y'all get to celebrate that feeling when we learned our candidate won. And by that kind of a long shot, we were spinning in our yards outside. Like, it was the most beautiful day ever. That victory feeling, it was like a miniature version of Donald Trump winning the election. It was just incredible. So I hope that you guys get to experience that too. Don't give up hope.
I do too. But we've also learned from Patriot Academy classes, and I'll butcher it if I even try to get through the whole quote, but one of the founding fathers says we have to basically train our brains to not be elated by success or in just despair from our failure, but we have to have an even keel. And I'm nowhere near quoting it, but it's the founding fathers are telling us this. So regardless of how Tuesday works out, we have a path to get rid of Act 77 in Pennsylvania, which gave us no excuse mail ballots. We have to get rid of 3 Supreme Court justices, and we can do that in November, boot them out, get new judges in, refile the lawsuit that the Commonwealth Court already ruled Act 77 is unconstitutional, that our liberal Supreme Court overturned, refile that lawsuit, get the right ruling, and bang, we're done with mail ballots, early voting, all that crap. And I'm not saying our elections are fixed, but they're in a way better position. Yeah, and so we have a ton of work to do regardless of how next Tuesday goes. But either way, get out and vote.
Look at where you are now. Look at you in 2020 or whenever. You couldn't have even formed that sentence. God is so good and so faithful. You are the right person to get this message out and to hold people accountable. I'm so proud of you. And you're right. We should keep an even keel because we had a failed city council election last year. It just did not work. When I said we had a candidate who her heart was not in it, her heart was not in it. And then we were all butting heads. Like, it did not work. We have failed also. But we're like, can you imagine how Moses felt when he went into Pharaoh 10 different times asking him to he had to have thought like, this is just never going to work. But in God's time, it does work. So we don't relent.
Absolutely. Joel I always close out on a funny video because a lot of our topics are really heavy and dark, and I think laughter is food for the soul. And so I always make Joel play a funny video. But before he does that, and we're going to close out, go to freespeechdefender.com. You've seen her heart, who she is. I think that if you feel so led to chip in and help her punch back against a unruly government, feel free. $5, $10, $20. Every little bit counts and makes a difference. So thank you guys for contributing. freespeechdefender.com. And then, of course, thank you so much to our donors and supporters. By you giving either regularly or one time at auditthevotepA.com, you help fuel our fight and be able to keep going and doing things like this and monitor the elections and recruit judges of elections and everything that we're doing now. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Cue up the funny video. We are going to, I'll give a preview. I don't have a guest figured out yet for next week. Brandon Strock has agreed to come on the podcast and talk to everybody. So he and I are going to have a really good conversation at some point. I don't have it for next week. I'm not saying it won't be next week because politics is crazy and things happen last minute. We're going to have more January 6ers. I have a heart for getting out the J6 stories. We have a Constitution coach in Pennsylvania who fought the medical freedom battle and won because Allegheny County, which is Pittsburgh, fired him for not taking the COVID jab. And he organized citizens after taking Constitution alive and realizing he could do something about it, filed a lawsuit and just got a settlement. They all just won like within the last few months. So we're going to have him on the podcast maybe next week. His name is Shane. We're excited. Rick's going to have him on the tavern too, thankfully.
That's so cool.
I know we're excited about that. So next Wednesday, I will see you guys at 9:00. Joel, you just cue up that video and I'll see you guys next week.
And get you signed in, hon. Fill that out. Seems like I ain't seen you in a while. That's what I was thinking too. Don't even worry about filling all this out. I don't even know why they put that stuff on there. It's like busy work. I've been eating a lot better. And then I told Bradley he better watch out. Hold on. Clerk's office is Patsy. Well, how are you? No. Oh, I ain't doing much. I'd like to get paid to sit here and be pretty. Lord, honey, this has been expired for a year. I might be able to change that. If anybody asks, I didn't say it though. They're getting real strict about it. Hey, you can't bring that dog in here, honey. She does. She wants to bring that dog everywhere she goes. Oh, here comes trouble. Stay away. You look cold. You okay? It's almost lunch. I think I'm gonna have me some chicken salad.
Joel, what the heck was that? Oh my gosh. All right, guys. I will see you next week, 9:00 Wednesday night. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.